Well, and as we continue to track the latest on the coronavirus outbreak from across the world, WION spoke exclusively to the man who led the evacuation and sought a quiet rescue of over 600 Indians in Wuhan. Let's listen in to Air India Captain Amitabh Singh, who spoke about the innumerable challenges faced during the evacuation.
Your experiences when it comes to this entire evacuating 600 people in a matter of just 2 days.
Yes. Okay, so it was very challenging, and however, since Air India has been involved in a lot of evacuations earlier, so we were able to pull this off very nicely, and we were informed just about a day and a half before the evacuation were to start, which is on the 31st, so we were informed on the 30th. So the biggest challenge initially was to get visas for all the crew and the staff who were to travel. That was the one big challenge. In fact, finally, we got our visas somewhere at the midnight, and some of the crew members got their visas next morning at about 7 and 8 in the morning. The other challenge was to be able to coordinate all these activities because all the ministries were involved. Coordinate these activities in that short period of time. And the third worrying part was since it was a medical evacuation and it was an epidemic. So obviously we wanted to ensure that safety of our crew and staff is of paramount importance, and that should be there. So these were the challenges that we had to face.
So you led the operation twice. The Air India flight was taken. When you landed in Wuhan, what was the feeling like? What was the city like? You must have seen. So can you talk about the conditions in the city at the airport?
Yes. See, normally whenever you're flying into any city as a pilot, there is a lot of radio telephonic chatter. You can see a lot of aircraft flying around, and you're normally stacked up for landing. Here, it was deathly silence. We were the only aircraft flying in there, and there was no traffic delays, nothing. And once we before we landed, in fact, what we saw was the city was all well lit up, but not one vehicle inside, not one soul inside. It was absolutely like a dead city, and that itself was very eerie. It was uncomfortable. And once we landed, the airport was most of it was in dark. All the aircraft were parked and sealed. We were the only aircraft moving. So that was something very unique. And when we parked and shut down our aircraft, we had only 2 people who came to receive us, and the doors were closed till the authorities were satisfied that all the systems are in place.
So what were the conditions like inside the plane when the passengers came inside the plane? Were they nervous? Were they excited that they're going home? So can you just describe the feeling inside the plane?
Okay. The passengers were obviously very, very tired. See, they had been waiting for this flight for the past few hours. And they had traveled long distances. Plus, it took them nearly 3 hours to go through immigration, customs, and medical assessment. So it was a big relief. So they were very tired. They were looking very scared and worried. But I saw as they got on board, there was a sigh of relief. There was a sense of relief that they had. And especially when we took off, you could see the smiles on their face and they were clapping. And yes, so it was.